Hey, what's going on this first day of March 2022? Listen, I want to share something with you that I was thinking about, that I've been thinking about for a while, and it's about parenting. Don't forget that your children will spend more time as an adult than they will as a child. Okay. Why is that important? Because so I have a job. I have a booming business. I have a thriving practice because primarily of bad because of bad parenting and neglectful parenting. Okay. And so the adults that I see in my office were once children. And when we get into their stuff, even when they're married, their issues almost always go back to their childhood. So be mindful when you're parenting young children, they're not going to be kids forever. Okay? So the things that you're doing. So I get parents, or when I do get parents, they want their kids to make good grades. Nothing wrong with that. They want them to that's the main thing. They want them to make good grades and focusing on grades. But when you are in elementary school, middle school, high school, getting good grades is good. But the penalty that you guys give your children for not making good grades sometimes is too much and unnecessary. And then also the things that you do to put them in certain situations or whatever to make sure that they do have good grades oftentimes is not necessary. Let me give you some examples. So one example, I have one parent who, whenever her child comes home from school, elementary school, comes home from school, he has to practice his writing every day. Elementary school, I think first grade. Now, he practices writing every day, but at school, they're practicing writing. Okay. This is not, this particular example is not, I'm not anti writing, but the child is 6. He needs to be a child. Why does he need to be a child? Because he's a child. And a lot of what this parent is trying to do to make her son great is hindering him. Why? Because the relationship with her and her husband, that's what's lacking. It's not his grades. Here's what I tell parents all the time. Your goal is to make sure your child gets whatever you're trying to get them by the time they're 18, not by next year, right? We punish them, we punish kids, and we beat them. We say you should know better, or you know better than that. Well, the thing is, you know better than a lot of stuff that you're doing, and God don't slap you across the head. They're human beings. They're gonna mess up. Get over this. I'm tired of telling you this over and over. Or God's tired of telling. What if God said, I'm tired of telling you stuff over and over? Right? So when you're parenting, I want to make sure I get this message across. When you're parenting, don't invest all of your parenting into making them be a great child, because they're going to spend more time as an adult, and all this greatness as a child and performing in school, they're going to suck at relationships. That's why I have a great job. I mean, not a great job. I do have a great job, but that's why I have a thriving business, because folk don't know how to do relationships. Present company was at one time included. I didn't know who taught you how to do relationships. That's the same person that taught me. Nobody. Okay. So and then you got another group of parents who are parenting out of fear. Can't do that. You parent out of fear, the love will never come across. Here's what I mean by parenting out of fear. So your parents did a certain, they parented you a certain way, okay? And you said, you know what? I'm gonna do the complete opposite of what my parents did because I don't want my kids to go through that. So you do the opposite, but the opposite doesn't mean better, right? And so now you're afraid for them to, what's an example of operating in fear? So you're afraid for them to get ridiculed in school for having bad grades because that's what happened to you. So you're hard on them about making good grades. Okay. So you're afraid of them growing up and not knowing how to read. So you make them read all day. Listen, they're not going to grow up not knowing how to read. They'll get whatever skills they need to get in time. And I'm not telling you not to discipline, but focus more on the love piece and teaching them how to do relationships, their character, and all that stuff, and the schoolwork and the cleaning of the house. I got one parent. He wants to make sure that his child knows how to clean, like know how to wash the dishes, know how to wash clothes. This baby's 10. I'm not anti doing chores at 10. But his reasoning is, when his child grows up to be an adult, he don't want him to be lazy and nasty. Here's the thing. That's your child's life. If they choose to be lazy and nasty, what is that to you? And here's the thing you don't realize. All of the pain and hurt that you're causing for them to get good grades or for them to be the perfect human being you're creating them to be in childhood, they're going to pay for in adulthood. I promise you, they're going to pay for it. And your relationship with them, you're going to pay for that too. Okay? So, I believe children should be allowed to be children. They need a lot of attention. They need a lot of discipline. They don't need a lot of punishment. And they don't need a whole lot of... So no one has convinced me of a reason to be strict with a child. And I've been looking for a while. No one has ever convinced me a reason to be strict with a child. For what? Disciplining and having boundaries and sticking to them ain't about being strict. Strict is, you can't do nothing. Like strict, I had a guy come in my office. He says no just for GP because he wants you to get used to hearing no. What? Why? What? What's the point in that? Do your part to raise productive citizens in society by working on their character, working on their love, working on their ability to forgive, working on them. So my grandson was over this weekend, and I don't know how long he's had it, but he has a habit of like slapping himself and punching himself when he gets upset or whatever. And so he did it this weekend, and I heard about it. I wasn't there, but I heard about it. So when I get home, I say, so what's wrong? And he was upset about something that he was saying. And I said, well, we don't hit ourselves. And basically, I had to communicate to him, Chandler, for the rest of your life, he's 7, for the rest of your life, you love Chandler. If nobody else treats Chandler well, you got to treat him well. If nobody else likes him, you have to like him. I don't ever want to hear you say, I hate myself, or I don't like me, or don't beat yourself up. Now, here's what I did do. It was a threat tactic. It was a Jedi mind trick. I got the belt like I was gonna beat him, and I was dramatic like I was gonna beat him. I'm like, well, come on, you want to beat yourself up? Let me help you. Come on, let's do this. No. I said, why not? You punching yourself? I'm just trying to participate. Once he was able to calm down, then that's when I was giving him the message, son, don't beat yourself up. Okay, love you, love yourself. No one, man, look. I wish someone had told me that at 7 and repeated to tell me. Now, me telling him that, that's like a seed. Watch this. That's a seed. But that seed has to be watered by his parents. They have to not tell him that again, but model for him what love is, because we learn how to treat ourselves by the way we're treated by our parents. Think about it. The critical voice that's in your head, when you mess up, the voice you hear that beats you down, where'd it come from? Your parents. Sometimes you can actually hear their voice literally. But when you're calling yourself stupid, or, how could you think that? Or when you beat yourself up for failing, you picked that up. You didn't come here to the planet with that. You learned it. And now you got to unlearn it, right? You got to reparent yourself. The reason you got to reparent yourself is because you were raised by imperfect people. And now you've been conditioned to believe something about you that's not true. And I'm trying to help parents limit that or stop altogether doing that to their children. Okay. So that's all I wanted to share with you. Your child will spend more time as an adult than they are as a child. So stop pulling your hair out because they won't do this and they won't do that and they won't do that. You're trying to get them to adulthood. You're not trying to make them be a perfect child. And I know when you hear that, well, no, I know no one's going to be perfect. Yeah, but the way that you're raising them, that's the message that comes across. And you got to remember this too. Children between the ages of 0 and 8, sometimes 10, they're very egocentric. Okay? They are egocentric. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means that they believe that the world revolves around them. They cannot process the world any other kind of way. That's just, their minds are fragile and immature. That's how it works. So whatever happens in their life either happens to them or it is caused by them. Or they feel like they should be able to stop it. Like if parents are fighting, children feel like they should be able to stop that fighting. If they can't, the conclusion is something must be wrong with me. When they get unfairly punished, let me say that again. When they get unfairly punished, they make a conclusion about themselves that something is wrong with me. Now, why did I say that twice? What is unfairly punished? If I go to the store and the clerk behind the counter does something that I believe is unfair, what's inside of me, whatever feelings and beliefs or whatever is connected to being treated unfair, they're going to rise up. But did you hear what I said? I did not say if the clerk did something unfairly. I say the clerk did something and I think it's unfair. My body's going to respond. My mind's going to respond. Possibly my mouth is going to respond because I believe I've been treated unfairly. Take that to your children. When you discipline your child or punish your child or whatever you do, and it's not clear to them, it's unfair. That's an injury. When they needed the discipline, they needed to be corrected in what they were doing, whatever the case. But the way you sent the message was, you're not good enough, something's wrong with you, and you need to fix that. That is why I'm doing this parenting course, to help parents do better. Because some of the messages that you think you're sending, they're going to love. Listen, a lot of in the Black community, because I'm having so many thoughts, I'm sorry. In the Black community, by and large, the way we parented back in the day was on the heels of the civil rights movement and slavery. Yes, some of those things still exist, right? Obviously, racism still exists, right? But we're not slaves, right? I would agree that the country is not equal between black and white, but it's way more equal than it was when you was growing up or when I was growing up, okay? So the way that I parent my children is not how I was parented. Like, they don't need, I just heard Steve Harvey say, like, when I raised my sons, I didn't have to, at first I tried to raise them the way my dad raised me, but I had to realize my kids growing up in the suburbs. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the projects. I had to learn how to fight every day. Me telling my kids, if somebody punch you, punch them back, you get the first lick, last lick, whatever that is, it's unnecessary. They don't live in that world. So you're trying to take relational philosophy, parenting philosophy from a different generation, 2-3 generations ago, bring it here and apply it to your 2022 child. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're going to injure them. And guess who's going to pay for it? They are, for the rest of I shouldn't say for the rest of their life, but until they realize, hey, this is a problem and I need to address it. Man, everybody that comes in my office, childhood issues, and they are fully grown. In my marriage, the things that have been difficult between me and my wife resulted back to our childhood crap. Do better at parenting. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Give more love. Now, love doesn't always have to be fluffy and soft, but love is never disrespectful. Never. Love is never devaluing. Love never devalues. Never. So when you talk to your child and you're angry at them or whatever because of what they did, you still respect them. They're a human being. You still communicate in love everything that Jesus did. Every conversation he had was filled with love because that's who he was. But not every conversation that Jesus had was quote unquote friendly. Love is not always friendly, but is always respectful. And I want you parents to do better. Stop trying to, your child was not created in your image. I know they might look like you, but trust me, they were not created in your image. They were created in God's image. He has a plan for them. Just because, I want my kid to have a vast vocabulary. Great. I want my kid to be a math wizard. Great. I want my kid to be great at basketball. Great. What does God want? I can tell you the first thing he wants, because he wants this for all human beings, to be able to love and be loved freely. All that extra stuff, basketball, scientist, or whatever, you're raising your child to be a mathematician when God has already planned for them to be a lobotomist. That just came to my mind. I don't even know what that is. That the person that I don't know what that is. But you get my point. That go to God to find out what direction you're supposed to be taking them. But at minimum, really your job is getting them through childhood so that when they become an adult, they're secure in themselves. They know how to love. They know how to give and receive love. They know what they deserve. They have appropriate boundaries. And they're not trapped in the prison of people pleasing. That is the goal of parenting. Why? Because you're trying to prepare them for life on this planet. And the majority of life on this planet is hindered because of people pleasing. That's the layman's term for it. The psychological term for it is codependence. At a certain level, the majority of people deal with codependence, meaning I can't fully be me because you won't like it. So I have to be who you want me to be so that you'll receive me. Why? Because I hadn't learned in childhood that I was good enough just as I am. And when you punish your child for something they don't understand, they're going to get this message, I'm not good enough. When you do appropriate good parenting, they can conclude I'm not good enough because, again, their little fragile minds are so immature and egocentric, they can misinterpret stuff. But let them misinterpret things that, there's no way I could get this love message across better, and they misunderstood it. Not them trying to decide as an adult, my mama really loved me. She yelled at me all the time, but I can see now that she loved me. Yeah, but you got all these issues. And the way you're treating your wife and the way you are treating your kids now. You can stop the cycle, at least in your family. Learn to parent better. And I shouldn't say learn to parent better. Let me change that, because I'm going to do some parenting stuff to help you parent better. But the main thing you need to do is work on your relationship with you. Parents, I'm talking to you, parents. Work on your relationship with you. Get good with you. If you get good with you, your relationship with God, your fellow man, and your children will automatically get better, because you're going to deal with some insecurities. They're going to be out the way. You're going to deal with some fears and apprehensions. They'll be out the way. Okay? You'll know how to deal with conflict when you get the relationship with you better. Okay? All right. Message for today: raise your child for the future, for their future, not your future. Their future, not your past fears. Raise your child for their future. Get them the basic essentials of life. If I could get one message into parents, that would be it. The basic essentials of life. It's childhood. Like how at 49, The stuff I'm learning at 49, there's no way I could have learned it in childhood. Those 18 years wouldn't have happened if my parents had the information I have and would have given to me the things that I've learned in the last 8 years. I wouldn't have got it. I wasn't, right? So my point is, you're going to spend more time as an adult than as a child. Give them the essentials, the basics, right? Stop trying to give them, teach them. You're trying to create a human being who knows how to do everything great and perfectly. Let them fail. We fail on this planet. Les Brown says you're going to fail your way to success. Let them understand how to handle failure instead of beating them up for failing. The basic essentials. Self-love. As a matter of fact, I'll sum it up like this. Here is, if I promise. Yeah, I'm promising, even though I don't know if I can back it up. But I'm saying promise as an indication of how strong I believe it, right? So it's not a promise that I'm going to keep necessarily, right? But anyway, I promise you, if you do what Jesus said, when a lawyer asked him, what is the greatest commandment? I promise you, your child will be fine if you parent that way. What did he say? Here's what Jesus said. He said, the greatest commandment is this: love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. That's relationship. He said, Jesus said, have an intimate relationship with God. And then he said, the second one is just like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. So then he says, have a relationship with your fellow man, intimate relationship, and care about them the way that you care about you. But here's the hidden message. You got to care about you. You got to care about you. If you take these three, loving God, loving self, loving people, let that be the foundation of everything you do. That's going to be the bare essentials for your child to make it out of childhood, and then building blocks. Like the business owner that I am now. That happened over time. There were steps, right? I want my child to be, we do the same thing. Like we see a great marriage. They've been married 20 years, 25 years, and it's a great marriage. And I want that. Yeah, it takes 25 years to build that. Because in year 5, she cheated twice. Year 7, he was texting somebody, right? You see them in 25 where it looks like God put them together himself. It takes 25 years to build that. In the same way, if you want to help create healthy and whole citizens for the planet, for us to interact with, to keep this race moving forward, you got to be a better parent. We got to raise children who are confident in themselves, but not arrogant, right? Who know how to love themselves, but not narcissistically, okay? All right. Parenting is a serious role. And if I could, I would say stop having children when you're not ready. But I mean, how are we going to monitor that, right? I did it. But anyway, hope this message was helpful for you. Share it with somebody who you believe needs it, because all of this, what you're doing as a parent, you're really doing too much. You're doing too much. Just love them. Teach them how to do life here. This is the gospel according to Clifton. I strongly believe this to my core. If you teach children how to do relationships, money will never be an issue. So you're trying to, you got to get good grades so you can get into a good college and have a good career. Hogwash. I got another parent. He makes his child read the dictionary every day. This baby is 7. For what? Because, he said, because he uses words and he don't know where they, he uses words incorrectly. He's 7. I'm 49. I use words incorrectly. At 7. So are you saying that at 7, if he don't read the dictionary, then at 20, his vocabulary will be limited? That don't make sense. That don't make sense. I've never read a dictionary. I mean, like read it like a book. Like I've looked in the dictionary. Matter of fact, you do, yeah, because I got one on the bookshelf. Saying, do we even have dictionaries now? But I've never read a dictionary. I have a master's degree. I have 3 businesses. I live in a nice neighborhood. I make good money. I don't tell you what I make, but I make good money. Really good money. Never read a dictionary. As a matter of fact, now this part I'm just sharing with you. This is not a recommendation. But I was thinking the other day, I was a very, very, very average student. Very average. Now, when I say average, meaning I performed at the average level, not that I had average intelligence. I did just enough to get by. And my point in saying that is all of the strictness that you're doing surrounding work, and or surrounding school work and all that kind of stuff. Some of it is not necessary. And you need to ask yourself, am I parenting out of fear? Am I parenting because I'm afraid for this to happen to my child, or I'm afraid for that to happen to me? That's not a way. That's like being married and your goal is not to get divorced. That's the wrong goal, in my opinion. Don't try to not get divorced. Try to have a great marriage. And you'll solve the divorce issue if you work on having a good marriage, a great marriage, right? In the same way. Everything that I just said about parenting. All right, I got to go because this is longer than what I thought. But I really want you to share this. I really want you to share this with people who you believe it will benefit. Okay. My thinking is, hold on real quick. Let me pull up the calendar. I'm going to tell y'all right now to put myself on the spot. That's why I'm doing this. Because otherwise it'll just stay in my head. I know me. So this parenting series that I've been telling you guys, we're going to start it next Saturday on the 12th. I'm trying to think, do I have something to do on the 12th? Next Saturday on the 12th, that's when I'm going to start this parenting series. Do me a favor. I know most of y'all ain't going to do it, but I'm going to ask anyway. Comment on a time, because actually, I don't even know if I'm going to do, I was going to say I'm going to do these live. I don't know if they're going to be live or not. But if they are live, comment a time on Saturday that would be best for you. I already chosen a date. I'm not debating the date. All right, I'm doing a date that works for me. But I would like a time that works for you. You know, whether it's 12 o'clock or early in the morning, 10 o'clock. Yes, that's early for me to be working. Or 5 o'clock, whatever. What's a good time for you? And it's not that crucial because they'll be recorded and you always can watch it later. That's just for if I do it live and you can ask questions live. That's why I'm saying that. Anyway, okay, great. All right, you guys enjoy your rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Yeah, that's it.